A while back, I saw a video by a YouTuber named Ruskie titled, "Why Fallout 4 Failed." The arguments he made to make his points were absolutely baffling, and so I contacted him and asked if it was okay if I made a reply to his video. He said it was okay as long as the reply video counted as fair use. Well, this video qualifies as a review of his video, so it counts as fair use. What's up guys, Ace of Thorn here, and welcome to another video game discussion video. I do these discussion videos on a regular basis, so if you'd like to see more of them, hit that subscribe button to stay notified. Now before I continue, I just want to say that this video that I am replying to today really pissed me off. For those of you who are regulars on my channel, you know that this is actually a rare occurrence with me. I'm usually pretty cool with guys having opinions which dissent from my own. I started doing these regular discussion videos in order to, start discussions about these games. And as long as people are civil about it, they are welcome to disagree with me. I have referenced the now retired YouTuber Mr. Caption multiple times on this channel, and have made it clear on numerous occasions that I respect that man and his opinions even though I disagree with those opinions. But Ruskie's video just pisses me off, and I hope that by watching this response video, the reason why I feel this way will become apparent to you as well. So Ruskie's video can be divided into two main sections. In the first section he discusses the apparent lack of meaningful player choice in Fallout 4. Specifically, he compares this supposed lack of choice to the comparatively meaningful choices afforded to the player in Fallout New Vegas. Here, have a listen.
It is obvious that there is a certain quality that Fallout 3 and New Vegas possessed that Fallout 4 just doesn't have. And that factor is choice. I'm going to make a sketch for each game. Each line represents a choice the player can make. The green line represents Fallout 4 and the red line represents New Vegas. So at the very start of Fallout New Vegas, there is a quest where the town of Good Springs is being harassed by a gang of raiders. Now, right off the bat, the player is presented with two choices. Either side with the raiders, or side with the townspeople. In Fallout 4, in the very first quest, the Minutemen are under siege in New Concord, where a group of raiders are trying to kill them. When you enter the town, the raiders are automatically hostile to you. They will shoot on sight, no matter how you approach. You are forced to side with the Minutemen. Now, in Fallout New Vegas, if you choose to side with the townspeople, it's your responsibility to round them up and prepare them for the raider attack. After it's all over, you get a discount at Trudy's bar because you're such a swell guy. This is where this branch of the questline ends. In Fallout 4, once you've made your way to the Minutemen, they propose a plan, where you grab a suit of power armor on the roof and repel the raiders. So in the dialogue, when you're offered this task, you have four options. When you select no, the option that very clearly says, "I refuse this quest," Preston will moan at you, and then you are given the quest to go to the roof anyway. The game totally ignores your choice and makes you do the very thing you just told it you don't want to do. So, speeding up a little bit. So in New Vegas, if you choose to side with the Powder Gangers, you're made to kill Gringo, then prepare for the attack on the town by getting Joyce and the Doctor, or getting armor off that prick at the general store. You can of course launch the attack immediately, but no matter what the extra quests you do, the outcome is always the same, where you kill the townspeople. At this point, Joe Cobb, the gang leader, tells you to go to the prison he just broken free from to meet the other Powder Gangers. Upon doing so, you're given a quest by the other leader to quote-unquote deal with a troublesome gang member that won't respect his authority. At this point, you have two options. Either A, convince him to piss off out the town without firing a shot, or kill him and his entire crew. Going back to Fallout 4, once you've killed the raiders and surprised Deathclaw, you go back to the museum to be told that they are moving to Sanctuary and that you are their glorified moving van. They don't say please, they were honestly quite impolite about it. Now, all that out the way, this is what the player choice in New Vegas looks like, and this is what the player choice in Fallout 4 looks like. Now, I appreciate that there are many people out there who love Fallout 4, but no matter your opinion, you cannot deny these two sketches are irrefutable. They accurately portray the cold hard fact that the starting quest in New Vegas has a wealth of player choice involved, and the starting quest in Fallout 4 has none.
That was the bullet points of the first section of his video, but I hope I didn't skip over anything truly important. Anyway, there are so many things wrong with what he says that it makes my head spin. No, don't get me wrong, nothing he says about the Fallout 4 quest When Freedom Calls is technically inaccurate, but the implications he makes about the game as a whole is shockingly naive. I have recently started a blind playthrough of Fallout New Vegas on my channel, so I am familiar on a basic level with the Good Springs quest that Ruskie is talking about. While I can certainly confirm that this New Vegas quest does indeed offer the player a choice of how they resolve the conflict, I wholeheartedly disagree that Fallout 4 is devoid of equally meaningful player choice. You just aren't looking in the right places. To show you what I mean, let's have a look at what each of the quests Ruskie uses in his comparison actually are. The New Vegas quest, Ghost Town Gunfight, and the Fallout 4 quest, When Freedom Calls, are not even in the same category of quests together. Juxtaposing them like Ruskie did is comparing apples and oranges. The simple bottom line is this. The Fallout 4 quest, When Freedom Calls, is main quest content, while the New Vegas quest, Ghost Town Gunfight, is side quest content. This, ladies and gentlemen, changes everything. The main quest in a game isn't supposed to have branching paths, except in a handful of carefully selected moments in the main quest line. Yes, a branching storyline and possibly different endings is nice, but that usually comes at the midway point of main quest lines, if even that early. Side quests are different because they are meant to be self-contained, so if you want the player to have any meaningful choices, you have to include them in that one quest. Main quest content is not meant to be consumed in a vacuum, it is meant to be part of a long series of quests. So instead of Ghost Town Gunfight, let's instead look at the New Vegas quest, He Went That-A-Way. That's actually main quest content for New Vegas and therefore provides a much more accurate comparison. What choices does the player have when it comes to that quest? Well, outside of simply leaving it unresolved, not a whole lot. You really only have two options when it comes to that quest. Pursue the guy who shot you, or don't pursue him. That's honestly about it. Sure, the main quest in New Vegas will eventually have branching paths, or so I've been told. I haven't gotten to that point yet in the playthrough, but that will come much later in the quest line. Now, Ruskie actually points out that even if you refuse to help the Minutemen during the quest When Freedom Calls, the game still shoves the quest objectives into the player's chest anyway.
When you select No, the option that very clearly says, I refuse this quest, Preston will moan at you and then you are given the quest to go to the roof anyway. The game totally ignores your choice and makes you do the very thing you just told it you don't want to do.
Well, that is technically true, but you know what it doesn't force the player into doing? Actually doing the quest. You are absolutely free to simply walk away from Concord as soon as you complete your conversation with Preston Garvey and never give Garvey or Concord a second glance for the remainder of that playthrough. It's not like the game locks the ground door to the Museum of Freedom so you can't go back out that door, and then traps you behind invisible walls until you put the fusion core in the power armor, and then uses more invisible walls to trap you inside Concord until the Deathclaw is dead. They're just words, man. Are these words really that much of a strong arm on your ability to play the game however you choose? So, as I've hopefully demonstrated, New Vegas is just as guilty as Fallout 4 is of having a main quest that doesn't offer very many branching paths at the beginning, assuming that's something worth being guilty over in the first place. So, what about the side quest content? As Ruskie demonstrates, the New Vegas side quest, Ghost Town Gunfight, gives you a choice of two factions to side with in order to resolve that conflict. So how does Fallout 4's side quests fare in comparison? Let's leave behind Preston Garvey for just a little bit and make just a tiny little trek onwards to the Drumlin Diner. There we have a drug dealer named Wolfgang who is arguing with a woman about some money that her son owes them for borrowing some chems without paying for them first. Now, because this is Fallout 4, the black sheep of the Fallout franchise, and one that always strong-arms you down a single path to hell with the player's role-playing choices, that means you will of course only have one way to do this quest. You have to side with Trudy and send that drug dealer straight to hell where he belongs. Oh wait, no, you don't have to do that. That's certainly one way to do it, but you can also threaten Wolfgang and make him run away. join forces with Wolfgang and kill Trudy and her son, causing him to take over the Drumlin Diner and offer his services as a merchant to you, or even use your powers of persuasion or intimidation to convince Trudy to pay what she owes, meaning that nobody gets hurt, and both Trudy and Wolfgang become co-merchants at the Drumlin Diner. I'll post a link in the description of this video to another video that shows all the different outcomes you have for this quest. I'm sorry, but what was that you were saying about Fallout 4 not giving the player any choices, or ignoring the choices he does make? Well, okay, maybe that's a bad example. That is, after all, just one quest in the entire game. Surely that's just a diamond in the rough, right? Okay, let's look at a few other side quests to see if we can notice a pattern emerging. There is also the heavily divisive quest Kid in a Fridge. This quest is controversial not for its linear design, but because of how much it supposedly shits on the lore of the franchise. I might go into more detail about that in a future video, but for the time being, what choices do you have in the quest? Well, you have the choice of leaving Billy at the fridge where you found him. He will remain there sulking for the rest of the game if you do that. When you eventually get around to agreeing to take him with you, a gunner named Bullet will appear and offer to buy the kid from you as a slave. Branching path number 1, keep the kid with you or sell him off as a slave. Refusing to sell Billy into slavery will lead to a cutscene where Billy is eventually reunited with his family, but then Bullet shows up again, this time with reinforcements, and you have to choose whether to convince them to leave, fight them off, or stand down. Meanwhile, agreeing to sell him will give you the caps, and will have Billy shoveling through some muck for eternity. You can, however, kill Bullet after selling Billy to him, which will then lead to Billy resuming his role as your follower and leading to the aforementioned family reunion cutscene, but with a minor difference. Bullet will no longer show up at the house or call for backup due to the simple fact that, he's dead. How's that for giving the player some meaningful choices and those choices having consequence? Huh? But, okay, maybe you still need convincing. So let's go for the hat trick. Let's take a look at one more side quest. The Vault 81 quest, Hole in the Wall. A child named Austin was bitten by an infected mole rat. Because Austin is only a child, the disease has the potential to be lethal. You were tasked with venturing into an abandoned section of Vault 81 and finding a cure for the boy. While running this dungeon, you are at fairly significant risk for contracting the disease yourself. When you finally get the cure, there is only one dose left, so you have to make a choice whether to give the cure to the boy or use it on yourself if you get the disease. Even if you don't get the disease, there is still an incentive to keep the cure for yourself, as it is quite valuable. 400 bottle caps. Damn.
You're going to sell it, aren't you, bastard? Are you really willing to let Austin die just to earn a few caps?
Of course, if you refuse to give Austin the cure, he'll die, and everyone in Vault 81 will hate you for it. You will be forever locked out of all other quests in Vault 81 that you haven't completed yet, the most devastating of which is the quest Short Stories, as this is the only way in the game to obtain one of the Grognak the Barbarian comic books. However, if you contract the disease while running that dungeon and don't use the cure on yourself, you are stuck with that disease forever. So, how's that for player choice, as well as there being actual meaningful consequences to the choices that you make? So there you have it. I just gave you not one, not two, but 3 side quests from Fallout 4 that not only offer the player multiple ways to resolve the quests, but also have meaningful consequences for the choices the player makes. So what I'd like to ask you, Ruskie, is why you claim that Fallout 4 doesn't offer any choices. Maybe the problem isn't that Fallout 4 doesn't actually offer the player any meaningful choices, but rather the game simply doesn't offer the exact choices that you personally would like to see at the exact moments you would like to see them, and with the exact consequences that you would like there to be. Is that it? That's fine if you feel that way about the game, but whatever you do, do not take your arbitrary, subjective opinions and present them as... What was that you said in your video?
The cold hard fact
Yeah, that! This, ladies and gentlemen, is the main reason why Ruskie's video pisses me off so much. Sure, Mr. Caption was very passionate about his viewpoints on Fallout 4 and Skyrim. He was very passionate about his love for New Vegas, but at no point in any of his videos does he ever even so much as imply that his viewpoints are meant to be taken as anything other than his subjective opinions. Ruskie, on the other hand, seems to subscribe to the philosophy that Fallout 4 is an objectively bad game, the keyword being objectively, simply because it doesn't conform point for point to the letter to his arbitrary standard of what a true RPG should be, and to hell with anyone else's opinions. But that is just the first half of his video. The second half takes his arrogance and cranks it up to 11. He actually has the audacity to propose what he considers to be a fix to this apparent problem of lack of player choice, or rather, lack of choice in the exact spots he wants there to be choice. Let's call a spade here. I should warn you though, put your beverages down for a minute, because if you haven't already seen this video of his yet, you're going to spill a little if you are holding any. Are you ready? Okay, here we go.
I want to propose just one addition that, if pulled off right, would have almost totally voided the points I've made so far in this video. I want to add a fifth faction. The fifth faction is a raider faction. A raider faction.
What?
A raider faction.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Now, I'll get around to rebutting this in a minute, but first I'd like to ask you to imagine something. What if, and this is all purely hypothetical and speculative here, what if there was a place that was all to do with Nuka-Cola? Oh, wouldn't that be the cheeriest place in the whole wide world? Where the rivers are made of quantum, and the mountaintops are fizz. Oh god, it's making me hungry just thinking about it. But alas, such a thing only exists in the realm of dreams, and certainly not as any part of Fallout 4.
Oh wait.
Quench your thirst for adventure and Nuka-World.
Seriously, Ruskie, what the hell? Did you not bother to take 2 goddamn minutes to do a Google search on this matter before you started running your mouth? Here, let me slow down and only say one syllable at a time so you can understand this. The game already has that. It's called the Nuka-World DLC. This might have been acceptable if Ruskie's video were published in late 2015 or early 2016, before Fallout 4 even had any DLC. But this video was published in January 2018. By the time this video was published, Nuka-World had been out for more than a year. There is no excuse for this. Seriously, I want you guys to listen to the various suggestions he gives for his hypothetical raider faction. I want you to think about how similar his vision is to what we actually got in the Nuka-World expansion. The similarities are absolutely astonishing. Here, have a listen.
The leader of the raider gang doesn't shoot you on sight. Instead, he gives you an offer.
You're still heading straight into a death trap. But if you somehow make it through alive, I have an interesting offer for you.
So if you say no, you kill him and his raider crew,
Or you could do the right thing and put them in the ground.
as you murder more and more of other raider gangs.
An outside crew of raiders think we're honing in on their territory. Sounds like they're planning to tear the place up. Suppose this provides us a good opportunity to make an example.
They respect you, or maybe even fear you, more and more.
Look, boss, this is your play. We'll follow you anywhere.
You have to kill the leader of the gang, the very guy who brought you on in the first place, so that now you've seized power and now you are the leader of your very own raider gang.
You saw it. We all saw it. Coulter's dead. We've got ourselves a new overboss.
You have to deal with a mutiny amongst your gang because they think you've gone soft.
Bad news, boss. The disciples have turned on us. Seems they didn't like how you were doling out territory.
Maybe you start up a protection racket where settlements pay you 40% of all their earnings.
I'm here to make you an offer. This place will supply me and my friends in Nuka-World caps, food, whatever you got. In exchange, we won't bother you.
Where you can slap explosive collars on various settlers and turn them into your own personal slaves.
I have this necklace that would look wonderful on you.
Okay, I guess.
Help!
Mason in Nuka Town owns you.
Oh my
Get
God.
moving.
You and your raiders could start a gambling ring where you as a player and other NPCs place bets on who they think will win in a fight to the death.
Here, I saved this for you. Sweet dreams! Up close and personal. Now, don't start what you can't finish. Time to make a mess.
A whole new radio station is broadcast that portrays you as a godlike figure.
From what I hear, the Gauntlet is a horrible maze of traps and trickery meant to maul and kill anyone trying to enter Nuka-World. Wait, that actually sounds kind of entertaining. Maybe I should lure Big Head Gary into the Gauntlet. Yeah, let's do that.
So I've highlighted most, but not all, of the similarities between Ruskie's vision and the actual Nuka-World questline. What about the differences? Well, you don't kill Preston Garvey in the actual DLC, although you do alienate him permanently. Also, we never kidnap Travis and force him to be our DJ. Nuka-World instead has its own guy for that, and he does the job willingly. We also never really attack Diamond City, and we actually become the overboss instantly, rather than having to work our way up the chain of command. Okay, so there are those differences, but are those differences really that significant? Is it really so damn important that you have Travis in particular be your unwilling DJ for this questline? The fact that Ruskie published this video in January of 2018 and did not even so much as acknowledge this DLC in any way, shape, or form is absolutely baffling to me. Either he didn't bother to spend even so much as 2 goddamn minutes researching the matter and checking his facts to make sure he had his shit straight, or he knew full well that the Nuka-World DLC existed, with those 4 differences I mentioned earlier between Ruskie's idea and the actual DLC, trivial as they were, still qualify as Bethesda not actually giving us a raider faction to join. Matching his ideal vision by 99% is no better than a 0% match. Frankly, either one is f***ing pathetic, you f***ing spoiled brat. But what really pisses me off isn't even so much the fact that Ruskie has these things to say about Fallout 4, but rather how much success he has enjoyed as a result. How is it that a video this poorly researched and this lazily thought out can enjoy success on YouTube to the tune of 955,000 views and 31,000 likes, while my heavily researched and heavily scripted analysis and discussion videos are stuck with only a few hundred views each. Is this the secret to getting big on YouTube? Haphazardly slap together videos that don't even check the facts before you upload the damn thing? But alas, it seems there was very little I can do about it, so I have no choice but to simply wrap this video up and call it a day. And that will do it for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, be sure to subscribe for more in-depth analysis of your favorite video games, and be sure to check out some of my Let's Plays on this channel, where I take a more lighthearted approach to these games and just have a good time. In the meantime, however, I am Acer Thorn, and I will see you guys later.